Hello everyone! What if I told you guys that NASA had published a report on using Hedera Hashgraph for aerospace applications? Some of you perhaps may not believe me. Well, in this video, we're going to be diving over to NASA's website and showing you the report and study that they did using Hedera Hashgraph. This is not made up. We'll leave links in the description where you can check all this out. And it's actually something that I didn't know about up until recently. What did I not know about? Well, that NASA has been exploring the usage and utility of Hedera Hashgraph. This is indeed not made up, not fabricated, but factual. This is techport.nasa.gov. And you can see the title of this is Hedera Hashgraph-based distributed ledger for aerospace applications. We're going to zoom in here. We've got the conclusion of this report still to get through, a number of diagrams, what they were looking to do. And then I'll actually talk about how other individuals following on from this report that was done a few years ago now actually are using Hedera Hashgraph in the very way that NASA, coincidentally, had put it forward for being used. And that is to provide a kind of a trust layer, if you will, a way to trust the data that you are receiving. We know that Intel and NVIDIA are leveraging via Equity Labs Hedera Hashgraph for verifiable compute you can trust, Hedera acting as a kind of trust layer there. And also WiseKey are launching their satellites with SpaceX into space and using Hedera Hashgraph for kind of verifiable data between those satellites and IoT. And it's very interesting that years prior, NASA had actually explored these use cases. And this isn't made up, this is all factual. Check the links in the descriptions. The beautiful thing is, and this is why you subscribe to this channel, only 697 people have actually viewed this document. Well, with this video, that's going to go to the thousands. It starts off by saying CTEN Global Strategies LLC, with a wealth of experience in aviation and business, focuses on investing in technology and then looking for ways to implement that technology in the marketplace to bring solutions to truly challenging problems. Hedera is solving so many of them. We spoke to Dovu that are bringing over $1 billion on chain via carbon credits. In that conversation, we kind of get to the point that without Hedera, you actually probably couldn't create a reliable carbon credit market because there's no source of truth. Hedera is acting as a trust layer there, just like what it's put forward here by NASA and other companies are sort of using, utilizing it for. It says a clear problem exists when teams of engineers are working to develop component for a complex system for engine mounts to entire electrical grids for a satellite, or they are managing a collage of resources that must function as a highly efficient ecosystem. They go on to say they must be able to know with 100% certainty what the correct version of a set of engineering drawings or what the current functional capacity of distributed resources might be at any given time. They need one source of truth, and this is how they're leveraging Hedera. The solution to these scenarios is a technology that CTEN Global is invested in called, our boy, Hedera Hashgraph. Hedera is a public distributed ledger technology, DLT, that solves all the challenges and inefficiencies of the blockchain commonly associated with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Unlike blockchain, Hedera Hashgraph provides for transaction speeds of up to 500,000 transactions per second, with over 900,000 a day just in the beta phase. Of course, we are the capabilities for it to do that are there. That's obviously not the amount of transactions that are taking place. Whether that will be one day, I mean, Hedera could handle it. It says the highest known level of security, asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance. The Fed actually published a report on how financial systems must operate on Byzantine fault tolerant systems. Anyway, that's for another video. I'm sure we've already done one on that. And a world-class governance council that includes Boeing, Google, and IBM, amongst others, as investment managing members. CTEN Global and its exceptional partners and advisors purpose to meet the needs of NASA, a future commercial client, by developing a decentralized application, DApp, that provides a trustworthy, robust, encrypted file service, DApp, and a space mission management, DApp, built on Hedera Hashgraph distributed ledger, providing enterprise-level performance, security, governance, stability, and regulatory compliance. Why more people haven't uncovered this document, I don't know. Anticipated benefits. The file service DApp meets NASA's model-based system engineering need to provide enterprise-level secure file storage, transfers, management, and version tracking amongst users, providing one source of truth for distributed parties. The Space Mission Management DApp will track and receive real-time status reports on key ground, space, and communication resources, providing a verifiable, decentralized source of truth for the management of those resources with maximum efficiency. The file service DApp solution can be utilized by any engineering group or manufacturer that has many people and components that require careful attention to version history of files, thus allowing for the efficient coordinated efforts in example, aircraft manufacturing, the resource management DApp, matching engines and supply chain negotiations of resources can be used in air traffic or airlines. Organizations responsible, you can see Space Technology Mission Directive. You've got Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Tech Transfer. And then you've got CNET or CTEN Global Strategies. The project duration was from 2020 to 2021, so it has now concluded at the end of 2021. Party organizations, you've got CTEM, you've got Goddard Space Flight Center, which of course is the NASA center, and you've got Kenshaw State University, which is academia. You can see some of the individuals mentioned. They are rather impressive. And then it attaches a number of documents. The briefing chart, which is this here, says Hedera Hashgraph based distributed ledger aerospace application. I mean, this is crazy stuff, right, that we're uncovering for you. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Identifications and significance of innovation. NASA needs distributed ledger technology to manage increasingly complex systems. CTEN Global's development of decentralized applications using the Hedera DLT for base layer consensus can provide advantages to NASA by creating one source of truth for files where confirmation of the latest version is essential, or for resource management where capacity and availability must be certain for best usage. CTEN Global Innovation uses the existing Hedera DLT and existing or customized DApps. Adoption of these technologies is in the infancy worldwide, and thus pulling these technologies together is the goal. Hedera DLT allows transaction speed of up to 500,000 transactions per second. Blockchains only do 3 to 12. That's sort of evolved a little bit more. The highest known security, synchronous, Byzantine, fault-tolerant, and a governing council that include Boeing, Google, and IBM. Hedera Hashgraph provides performance, security, governance, stability, regulatory compliance at a fraction of the cost of other blockchain solutions, 1/100th of a cent per transaction versus 50 cents each. Technical objectives are: file service DApp, CTEN will create a quick solution to NASA's model-based system engineering challenges utilizing the existing Hedera network and decentralized applications for file services through our vendors. The DApp will be tailored to NASA's specific needs to be at the TRL range of 5 at the end of phase 1. Space Mission Management DApp. CTEN's DApp development will use consensus services to track assets, match and negotiate supply chain resources for ground and space ops, and could be the TRL of 3 or 4 of the end of phase 1. Talks about the NASA application now, which is rather interesting. If we bring this up, it says, you can see there's a quick picture here that we'll take a look at. NASA's application, file service DApp meets NASA's model-based system engineering needs to provide enterprise-level secure file storage, transfer management, and version tracking amongst users, providing one source of truth for distributed parties. The Space Mission Management DApp will track and receive real-time status reports on the key ground, space, and communication resources, providing a verifiable, decentralized source of truth for the management of those resources with maximum efficiency. Non-application obviously goes further. So this is rather interesting, to say the least. And the fact that NASA are actually publishing this is extremely telling. And you can see people have taken this and ultimately ran with it. We'll jump on the conclusion just a second, look at other examples of this. Let's dive into the briefing chart image. So you have this here. Rather interesting, rather messy. You can see you've got hash load. You've got the difference between a blockchain and obviously the hash graph, why they're using, utilizing it, events, so on and so forth. And there is one more image attached that we'll get into now, which is this one here in regards to how it actually works. You know, you can see when a file is uploaded, a series of metadata needs to be filed in by the user. And you can see how this works and how this is essentially stamped and recorded into Hedera and visible through a mirror node. You've got transaction IDs and other such things. This is a clear example of NASA actually engaging with Hedera Hashgraph and looking to use and utilize it. How many DLTs can say that? Of course, this has ended. The conclusion, which I want to talk to you guys about, is published here. You can see you can find this under it says Project Start 2020 and September 2021. Final summary, if you click on that, that's going to bring you over to this. And we'll get into the conclusion. But this is huge. I can't believe I didn't know about this sooner. It's just another kind of tick towards Hedera Hashgraph. Hedera Hashgraph-based distributed ledger for aerospace applications. Objectives. NASA is seeking innovative solutions involving blockchain that would enhance operational efficiencies of the model-based system engineering process. CTEN will apply distributed ledger technology, Hedera's network, and decentralized applications DApps to NASA's model system engineering process. The DApp will provide one source of truth and version history while establishing the why behind changes by capturing reasons for the user's input as metadata. The goal is to decrease overall risk in NASA's project proposal by decreasing human error and enabling, and this is the way the world's moving more broadly, guys, and enabling more accurate cost, time, and performance estimates, TRL range of 5 at the end of phase 1. Accomplishments, so it said notable deliveries provided, gain deep insight into the challenges NASA has with model-based system engineering methods. A blueprint process overview was established for CTEN's innovation called HashWire. CTEN developed a working web-based software prototype of HashWire that can be logged into and utilized. It demonstrates the user interface and distributed ledger infrastructure and the method by which documents change are captured by the metadata. HashWire, a platform agnostic solution, was established on the Hedera DLT to capture crucial insight and track master equipment list MEL files specifically for the MBSE process. This provides a single immutable source of truth and understanding of the why behind document changes to all authorized parties, greatly enhancing the process efficiency and reducing the risk. It says some of the key milestones over here are identified, tested, and applied the best blockchain DLT platform for this application. Determine framework for a solution that would meet NASA's policy requirements and be adopted by the end user. Identified how to utilize metadata to avoid a garbage in, garbage out scenario in the development of the MEL document by fixing input errors and changes to the MEL as they occur. Gave presentation to key NASA personnel establishing strong interest in this technology. This is huge. It says future planned developments, planned post phase 2 partnerships, NASA's new opportunities office, Goddard Space Flight Center, Tech Capital, a venture capital fund based in Florida, multiple high net worth family offices in emerging technologies, planned possible mission in fusion, any NASA project proposal that is using model-based system engineering as a method of development can greatly benefit from CNET's global solution, planned possible mission commercialization. This is extremely interesting, I think, to say the least. So on NASA's website, they've actually published a paper and a study and a research that was done actually using Hedera Hashgraph as a kind of source of truth to help, I guess, with aerospace. And I find that extremely interesting, and they've sort of highlighted some of the key milestones with it. This is the kind of best project for the application. Pretty interesting to say this. I can't believe I didn't know about this sooner. We do know other individuals are doing exactly this, using Hedera Hashgraph as a kind of truth source. This is WiseKey confirms June launch next generation WiseKey satellite with SpaceX, featuring encrypted communications and Sealcoin's integration. Very quickly, a leading global cybersecurity, blockchain and IoT company today announced the upcoming launch of next generation WiseSat.space satellites aboard a SpaceX mission in June 2025. This milestone marks a major technological step forwards for WiseSat.space, secure space communications infrastructure, and the development of traditional or transactional IoT solutions directly from orbit. The technology they're leveraging to do this, by the way, built on Hedera's DLT. Pretty interesting. And also we know that Equity Labs, along with NVIDIA and Intel, which the government now owns a 10% stake in, by the way, so the government kind of indirectly using Hedera, are also using Hedera for verifiable compute. I think Hedera is such an obvious choice. If you look at the world and where it's currently at and the journey of blockchain adoption that we have ahead of us, Hedera is positioned to capture a good margin of that. And that's really the investment proposition as it relates to Hedera. Of course, there's no financial advice given here. I don't care whether you buy Hedera or not. I own a lot of Hedera. It's one of my largest holdings, my largest holding, and it's for reasons just like this. It clearly stands head and shoulders above the rest on many levels. And again, an interesting paper I wish I'd sort of found earlier, and that is that NASA has actually been exploring Hedera Hashgraph. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Hope you enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed reporting it, and I'll see you all in the next one.